Today we're going to be talking about Abraham and how long it took God to fulfill his promises that he made to Abraham. That's the first question.
What thoughts went through your mind as time passed?
Tell him to read. Ask him.
Esther, have you guys ever been promised something but had to wait a long time before the promise was fulfilled?
Roger, give an example.
When somebody owes me money.
Who?
Are you worried about that?
Fuck. I'm confused.
What thoughts went through your mind as time passed? How'd you feel?
No.
Impatient.
Impatient?
I always
Why?
forget. That's bad.
Why is waiting sometimes difficult?
Because you think maybe the promise is not going to happen.
So you just gave up.
I
Sometimes.
forgot.
When I was a kid, my mom always promised to take us somewhere like to Disney or something. She never did it. It scarred my life, but with my kids, anything I promise them, I always do it, just because of that. So.
Cool.
Have you ever been now that you're older?
Yeah.
You think everywhere.
I got the annual pass all the time.
To Disney?
Yeah.
Okay, so earlier in Abram's life, the Lord had promised him that his prosperity would be as numerous as the dust of the earth. Can you guys go to Genesis 13, verse 16? Someone read it.
Christian, you got it.
I need it. I'm almost there.
Then why are you raising your hand?
I want to read.
It's lesson 23.
Yeah, Genesis
Okay.
13:16.
And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered.
Alright, what do you think dust of the earth means?
Like innumerable, like you couldn't count it up as, because you can't count how much dust there is.
Alright, Abraham had waited for many years and still did not have any children. So let's read Genesis 15, verse 1. Roger, can you read that?
And these things the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. Bless you.
Nice.
Who spoke to Abraham in that vision?
The Lord.
And what might have you asked the Lord if you had been in his position?
Now, it's important to remember that Abram was 85 years old and still didn't have any kids.
Is this Abraham
Still waiting.
or is this a different?
It's the same
Abram.
guy, but his name is Abram right now.
Why
The
is
Lord changed his name later on.
Wait, to who? To what?
Abraham.
So it's Abraham.
It's Abraham, but
Yeah. I'm like,
before
this-
his name was Abram.
This sounds like the story of Abraham.
Oh.
So what might you have asked the Lord if you were 85 years old and he says you're going to have a lot of kids?
You're like,
He hasn't
really?
promised it yet.
I'd be like,
Why are you lying?
hey, where's my kids? Why?
Right?
Like, why at this age I'm so old?
His wife was 75. Well, he said that his descendants would be like the sand of like
We're
dust
all
of
his
the earth.
descendants.
We are.
So he obviously got his promise.
Alright,
Okay. So we're gonna read Genesis 15, 1 through 6, but we're gonna do it kind of differently. Will you read, let's see, 1, and then 4 and 5? Yeah. And then, Lindsay, will you read
Wait, where is this?
This is
Genesis chapter.
Genesis 15.
Genesis 15.
Genesis
okay.
15, 2, 3, and 6. So
Okay.
one person's going to be speaking for the Lord and one person's going to be speaking for Abram.
Psalm 1, 4, and 5.
Yeah, but
But
you
we-
guys are gonna do it like in order, so you would read one, she'll read two.
After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward.
And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, saying, I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Elijah of Damascus? And Abraham said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and the one born in my house is mine heir.
And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look thou toward heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness.
Okay, so what was one thing that Abram was kind of worried about?
His wife being old.
Yeah.
Also, in tradition, back in their day, so he says to have a steward in my house, Eliezer of Damascus, and he would have been his heir even though he wasn't his son because he was the one like in charge of his house. So he was born and raised in that house, this kid, this other guy, and he wasn't his son. He would have ended up being the inheritor of all of Abraham's cattle. Remember we talked yesterday about Abraham was rich, had a lot of stuff, and he was worried like this guy's gonna end up with all my stuff because I don't have any kids.
Do you not want this kid to end with all this stuff?
Well, he was just saying, is he gonna be the person that that has my inheritance? And then the Lord said, no, it's gonna be your own kids.
Alright. So why do you think that Abram believed the Lord? Because I mean, he's 80 something, his wife's 70. Why do you think that Abram believed him?
Because God, so...
Because Abram had faith.
That's right.
So Abram had also been promised land, and he still hadn't gotten that either, so he was kind of concerned about that. And this is the Joseph Smith translation of this, and it says, And Abram said, Lord God, how wilt thou give me this land for an everlasting inheritance? And the Lord said, through thou wast dead. Okay.
You want to read verse 10? Who?
Breathe.
Verse 10. And the Lord said, Though thou was dead, yet I am not able to give it thee. And if thou shalt die, yet thou shalt possess it. For the day cometh that the Son of Man shall live. For how can he live if he be not dead? He must first be quickened. And it came to pass that Abram looked forth and saw the days of the Son of Man, and was glad, and his soul found rest. And he believed in the Lord, and the Lord counted it unto him for righteousness.
Okay.
Cool.
So, the phrase "Son of Man," what is that mean?
That's another title for Jesus Christ.
Alright. The Lord told him that even if he were to die, God would be able to keep his promise. Let's go to verse 11. You were dead. You read verse 11.
Oh, you just read it. Yeah,
I
you
read
just read it.
it.
Yeah.
So, why was that? That he would be able to keep his promise to Abraham, even if he died.
Oh, we know from one thing that the Lord always like goes through with his promises, but like I don't know how he would do it if I don't know if he died or something. But
Well, I think when he was talking about like you'll possess it, all this land is including his descendants, you know, because they all were his family. So it's almost like saying, you know, I'll give you all this land. He's talking about him and his children. Even if Abraham was dead, he could still give him all this land because it was still his kids.
Abraham was reminded that he would live again after his mortal life was completed because of the Savior's atonement and resurrection. He is also reminded that God is able to keep his promises, whether in morality or in post-mortal life.
Martin, let's read Joseph Smith translation Genesis 15. Wait, did I read that too?
Yeah, you read that one already.
Alright, in that verse, what was Abraham's reaction when he understood the explanation and saw the days of Son of Man? What was Abraham's reaction?
Look in verse 12 of Genesis 15:19, the Joseph Smith translation. He says he believed in the Lord.
So he was scared, I think. Right?
No, he was glad. It says
And he was glad and his soul found rest. And he believed.
What verse are you?
we're in the Joseph Smith translation of Genesis 15.
Oh.
Oh, I'm on Genesis 15. So if you read it, it sounds scary.
Yeah. But that's that's the good thing about having the Joseph Smith translation.
Alright, I have a question. Do any of you have concerns with where this is at? About your future? No concerns? What?
Think about that.
Might not go as you want it to.
Your life? Your future?
No, just anyone's in general.
Laughing?
Might not go the way you plan.
That's why you don't plan too much.
I mean, I think a lot of us have concerns like maybe, you know, will I be able to find somebody to marry or have kids, or am I going to be able to support my family, or, you know, find work or get into the school that I want to get into, or something like that, right?
Alright, and we have our quote. Can you read it? Read the quote.
To exercise faith is to trust the Lord knows what he's doing with you and that he can accomplish it for your eternal good. Even though you cannot understand it now, he can possibly do it. How? He could possibly do it. By Elder Richard G. Scott.
So that's it. I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
We say